So when it comes to the Democratic Party, right, they tend to come out as if they're the party of high moral standards, right? That everything that they do is to help people. When in reality, all it does is hurt people, right? A lot of their policies hurt people. And a great way they tend to do this is through division. And the reason why they do that is because it's, if you can divide people and then create an enemy, then you can create that that division where, all right, that person's the enemy, and you can control that certain group of people. And you see this a lot, right? Some of the examples is they tend to always, do the black versus white thing, or man versus woman, or rich versus poor, or gay versus straight, or even vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And now I'll give a few examples of each of these things in a little bit. But they tend to do this because it's easier to divide and then have that group of people just go after a certain enemy, and it's easier to control those people. And they're really good at this. Is a tactic that they use all the time. So, for example, whole black versus white, they make blacks feel like victims, right? That the reason why they can't accomplish things is because of white supremacy, or because of racism, or whatever it is. Like that regardless, like whenever they encounter some type of adversity in life, right? And we all do, right? Like that's just way life. Like regardless of the skin color, regardless of who you are, we're all gonna face some level of adversity, because that's just life. And the goal is to find a way to overcome that, because this is how we grow as individuals. However, if you drill into the heads of people, the reason why they can't accomplish things is because of a certain group of people. When they hit that level of adversity, their first inclination is to give up and say, you know what, I can't accomplish this because of white people or white supremacy or whatever it is. This certain group of people is holding me back, and it creates this victimhood mentality. So, and I remember even growing up as a kid, like when you watch movies and shows like through media, that you see all this level of racism and stuff like that. Not to say that these things didn't happen back in the days, but if you look at today's day and age, man, like this is nothing compared to what happened in in the 60s, right? But when you get that stuff drilled into your head, when you're going through life and things become hard and difficult, then you start to say, see this, these are the reason why I can't accomplish this thing is because of this external thing. And it makes you not want to overcome that, because you really like to get over these certain things. You really have to like fight hard and try, and that's just life. But when you encounter that problem, that issue, that level of adversity, it makes you want to give up, because it's that difficult. And you want to find an excuse. You want to find a reason to give up, and then be a victim and say the reason why I can't accomplish this because of this certain thing. And the same thing with men and women, right? They're really good at making men feel like they're the reason why women can't accomplish things in life, right? Because of, back then, men oppressed women back in the days, and even that we still have those in today's day and age, where, you got the patriarchy, right? Like women are oppressed and that they can't accomplish things. So think about it with women, right? If a woman is not happy in life, in any aspect of life, it's easy just to blame a man. The man is the reason for the reason for their unhappiness, because of the patriarchy. And you got the gender pay gap, which has been debunked so many times. But there's always a reason, right? And it's because of men. And you have so many women out here that just hate men and find every reason to blame men for why, for their unhappiness. And Democrats are really good at pushing that agenda, right? That propaganda where the reason why you can't do things is because of man. And then all it does is, like, especially even for married women, when they reach a level of unhappiness within their marriage, and now like I've never been married, obviously I've married friends, but these are things that I've observed, is when you reach a level of unhappiness in your marriage, which is, I assume, every married couple goes through, because marriage is difficult. The first thing that you want to do is get a divorce, right? A lot of these women just say, all right, just divorce. If you're unhappy, just divorce, because it's an easy thing to do. And all it does is incentivizes more divorces, incentivizes single motherhood, because let's be honest, like if you have a government there to back you up and say, hey, look, if things get tough, don't worry. Instead of having a man take care of you, we can have the government take care of you, right? So it's an incentive, like, yo, I don't really need men. I don't need a man, because I can have government that takes care of all my needs. They give me housing, food, healthcare, all the things that I need. When in reality, it should be a man also providing these things for you, helping provide those things for you. But Democrats are really good at creating that division. That, hey, look, if you feel like a man is oppressing you, doing all these things, just leave them and do your own thing. And finally, the vaccinated versus unvaccinated thing. I remember during the pandemic, man. Like, I remember this from so vividly. Like, you even got Joe Biden talking about this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, already creating that division, right? And this was a tactic to shame people that didn't get vaccinated into getting vaccinated. Just think about it, like people that your friends. Like, if you're someone that didn't get vaccinated, and you told them this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, see, the reason why this pandemic is continuing is because you're not vaccinated." Right? The reason why this thing continues to spread because you're not doing your part, creating that division to try to shame you into doing that. And I remember that, like, even with the vaccine cards, like, you can't even go into establishments without having this card. I'm like, you're like, what world are we living in? And I will never forget that that level of that division where, look, if you're someone that decided not to go to get that vaccine. The fact that you had people that cared about you that tried to pressure you into getting it, obviously because they're scared and they were obviously their heads were filled with a whole bunch of information that scared them and everything. But the fact that the goal was to create that division, and it obviously was coming from the left, and they're so good at doing that, creating that division, right? Creating this goal where people are just fighting each other constantly just so they can maintain power. And it's something that for a lot of people that you have to call it out. Like, you got to observe these things and see that this is the goal. And like any situation, like, they always resort back to this, whether it's going back to black versus white, men versus women. Like, they use this tactic a lot to like push certain agendas, and it's so obvious these days, and it's sad to see that because like it's a tactic that's constantly used, and you got to be able to make sure that you're aware of this, because we live in a time where we're very divided when it comes to politics, and it continues to grow even till today. But the goal is to make sure you keep calling this stuff out, and you try to educate people on these certain political tactics that they use on the left, and just continue to speak out about it, because like, especially as a country, like we're obviously stronger united than we are divided. But at times that we are right now, it seems that we're constantly divided when it comes to these politics. But I mean, you got to call these things out, and you can't be afraid to talk about these things. So yeah. So when it comes to the Democrats, man, they're a party of division, man. And I've learned that as I've gotten older, that their goal is to divide people and not bring people together. So definitely got to be aware of that. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.